Alright, so let's do our first program using Eclipse and our MAMP server. So first of all, I'm going to check to see that the MAMP server is up and running. So I have the control panel here. I click on the Open Start page and I see that my program is up and running. So localhost is active. Now let's create a project to make this thing a little bit more customized. So a good project to start with is our Hello World app, right? So let's go to our Eclipse program, File, New PHP project. And let's call this thing Hello World. So I'm going to use hello-world. And notice the directory that it's being saved to is mamp htdocs. Let's click Finish. So Hello World is the traditional app just to say hi. So the project itself doesn't have any files in it. There's nothing to type here. If you try to type, it doesn't happen. You have to add a new file. So let's right-click on the folder, New, and let's choose File. Now you could do PHP file or file. There's different kinds. We're just going to choose File. Now for the first file, let's call this thing Hello Page. And so hello-page, and I'm going to use the extension PHP. So let's finish that. If you want to indicate that you're using PHP, you type a less than sign question mark PHP, and then to close your PHP section you have a question mark and the other end of the greater than sign. So let's write a statement here. The print statement in PHP is the word echo, and then you put in quotation marks and a semicolon. Whatever you put inside the quotation marks is the string that will go to the screen. Hello, this is my first app. Okay, let's save these changes. And now I'm switching to my browser and I want to go to my page. So let's choose my website and it goes to localhost. Now you can see I have lots of folders. You won't have this many folders. The one I'm looking for is Hello World, and then it says what is your next destination. So you can ignore the parent directory, build path, project, and settings. Those are all Eclipse files and they don't really affect your web page. But this one does. Hello page, and we have my app running. So that's your first PHP app. I'm going to switch back and I'm going to create a new version of Hello World, and this time instead of using a PHP extension I'm going to just call this thing Hello HTML page and use the extension HTML. HTML is the static web page. So HTML pages look like this. They start with the HTML code. They have something called a header, and then a close header, and then finally you have the body. And so those tags right there are what web pages use to identify beginning and ending sections. So inside the body is where you put all your text. So this is going to be I'm going to say a headline 1. So that's the largest headline. So put those tags in there, and then I'm going to say hello. And once more, another message. This is my first HTML page. And just to show you that there are different kinds of tags in HTML, I'm going to put in a paragraph tag and say this is a smaller text. And then a closed element. Okay, let's save the changes here. And let's also take a look at this page. So I'm back to my web browser. I click the back arrow and I don't see my new page. If I push the refresh button, I do. So now I can click the HTML version. You see that I have two different kinds of text. I have the H1 and the paragraph text. One more example. You can mix both HTML and PHP on the same page. So let's create another new file. And this one I'm going to say hello mixed. And I'm going to use the PHP extension. So if you have to have any PHP code on the page, it has to be with that extension. So I can start off my page with HTML tags. And so I would go with the regular header and then the body again. And this time I'm going to put in a PHP section. So let's do an H1 again. And I'll call this thing headline text. And then the smaller paragraph tag comes after that. Let's say this is a paragraph. And then if I want to insert PHP code, I can. So I can type in this opening and closing. And then I can say this comes from PHP. Okay, so I'm mixing two different kinds of languages on the same page. Let's save the changes. Let's switch to the browser, back up, refresh the page, and this time let's see the mixed page. So as far as mixed goes, the user has no idea that there's a difference. This looks like it's regular text, so does that. If I right-click and choose Show the Source, you will see that my web page source looks very similar. I just have some text here, and I have the HTML up here. You can't see the PHP code. It's executed on the server, and then it's delivered to the web browser. So that's the difference between the two. So there's a quick demo of your first page using PHP and HTML code at the same time. So I'll give you a little homework then. Let's expand this. Let's create a small biography about yourself. So inside of headline text, you might say this is about my history, and then you might say this is my hobbies, and you might have another paragraph about other interesting things in your life. So experiment echoing code and also using HTML.